Unfortunately, cultural similarities are not the only place that these two have common ground. Unfortunately, they are also similar in how they are treated and how their people are slowly dying. Hi, my name is Michelle, and I'd like to talk to you about the genocide happening on our own soil. I want to give a quick shout out to Material Gremlin, who provided me with some research materials.
Here's what $68 of groceries look like when you coupon and use points.
Okay, I'm gonna show you what I get for $71 on my res at Moose Factory at a fucking Northern store for $71. So, first of all, you get a brown paper bag, $71 in this bag. Just the essentials, get bread, bacon, eggs, chicken nuggets for my son, rice. I got some Mio here because I'm trying to lay off the Pepsi. And of course, smokes. So, money's a little tight for me right now. I couldn't even afford bologna and fucking clicks. Like, look, I even got proof. Northern store. Fucking $71. Ain't that some shit?
When you actually go and do research on this topic, you realize on average, Native Americans are paying at the very least 10, probably $20 more than the average person for their groceries. But when you go and do research on it, you find that some people are looking into why this is, but nobody seems to have a clear answer. And, well, monkey see, monkey do, right? The Israelis picked up everything they knew from the Nazis, clearly. So I decided to look into what the Israeli people were doing to the Palestinians. And when you know it, as it turns out, they're doing the same exact thing to them. We're just doing it slower. See, when you go back and read through the treaties for Native Americans, you find out that, number one, not only were they given this inhospitable, crappy excuse for land, basically, and then they were told they could only farm so much, and their banks could only hold so much. But yet they are considered a sovereign nation. So immediately right there, that can be cited as one of the culprits for the high prices. Palestinians only make $430 a month. Rent alone is $800 to $1,200 a month. Yep, they're going through rent crises too. Isn't that weird? Explains why so many of them are housed in housing like that, isn't it? Makes it pretty easy to target. So picture it, you're making basically the equivalent of $430 a month trying to buy food. And then on top of that, because Israel decimated the land for the Palestinians to make their own food, they literally can only maybe produce enough that takes up like 18% of the food market. And most of that has to go to them. And that's not even enough. So imagine then, you're having to pay extra to import food from around the world on top of everything. And then there's extra charges because of the area, because of what's going on in it, because you have to go bypass security and customs, and Israelis get to look through all your shit to make sure that you don't have any contraband. Like, imagine the exorbitant prices on that. And then you look at the Native Americans. Have you seen the land that these people have? I mean, this looks so easy to grow stuff in, right? Like, totally livable. Absolutely 100% acceptable, correct? So if the Native Americans are considered a sovereign nation, and they are only allowed to have so much land to cultivate anything, on land that you really can't cultivate anything on, oh, and their water rights have been yanked. It's been voted as not necessary to live. And on top of that, it turns out the IDF already have their eyes on our Native brothers and sisters.
And here we go again. The U.S. Border Patrol and Israel military contractors are putting a Native American reservation under persistent surveillance. The reservation in question is the Tohono O'odham.
So in case you missed it, we're doing the same thing to them that the IDF is doing to Palestinians. We might not be bombing them, but we yanked their water rights, and they cannot afford to sustainably continue to pay money for food prices that are insane. And travel for them is insane too, because all of these reservations are in rural areas where it takes forever to get anywhere. It was done on purpose. Look at their land, look at their numbers. For those of you who believe that this doesn't affect you, Bill Gates is buddies with Israel. Yeah. Now, why am I bringing up Mr. Gates, right? And the fact that he's buddies with Israel, why am I bringing him up? Well, we know he was buddies with Epstein, and Epstein had ties to Israel. His father-in-law had ties to Israel. Bill Gates likes to do startups in Israel. And Bill Gates, knowing that cobalt is bad, wants to expand he's backing a mining startup and expanding into the Congo. And it even says here, basically, that he knows, right? Because it even says Congo is the world's largest cobalt producer and one of the biggest sources of copper. Both materials are expected to see demand swell in the coming decade as they're needed for clean energy infrastructure and rechargeable batteries. Not a single thing about the genocide happening there. Not a bit. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Who's buying up all our land right now? It's not just them. We're on the chopping block too. But right now, who needs our help the most are our brothers and sisters on our reservations. I know it feels like every time we turn around, we got a new problem we have to deal with. But in order to tackle this, I'm telling you right now, we're going to need every single person, which means you're going to have to get over your pride a little bit. Having petty differences with your neighbor is what started all this division to begin with. It doesn't need to be there. That's why some of these tribes have been allowed to die out, is because we believe that these differences are more important than human life. I don't know about y'all, but if someone treats me right, I'm gonna treat them right. If someone ain't hurting nobody, who am I to say anything? If they're not yanking food out of somebody's mouth, abusing financially, whatever, if they're not doing harm, I don't have any right to say or judge, period. But all these news outlets will make you believe that we can't do it, that we can't get along. Yes, we can. They think we're stupid. They expect us to be stupid, but we're not stupid. Your autistic kid isn't stupid. They're reacting correctly in a system that is completely broken and terrible and designed for you to fail. This war is not just upon our Native brothers and sisters, but it started upon them. Let's be better. Let's prove them wrong.